We go. All right, so today we're doing a little review of strange function problems, like, for instance, what if I said, what's f of 2? And a lot of people will get confused by this one because they'll be like, do you mean this 2 or that 2? Would you please look on this chart and use logic to figure out what f of 2 is. F of 2. So I could see a kid going, well, I know we're not using G. I know we're not using K. That makes sense. Cutting it down to just like reasonable things. And then they're like, well, F of 2, is that this spot? Because there's a 2 in the F column. That must be it. Nope, that's not it. What goes right here? That's where f of x would be. So that's where x is 2. Okay, so this is where x is 2. Follow down the x column to here. That and this overlap there at 0, and the answer is 0. Raise your hand if you had that one right. Okay, awesome. All right, now of course they get a lot harder from here. What if I did say it the other way around? What if I said f of x is 2? Now it's a completely different answer. Try to answer that one. F of x is 2. Now, what I don't like about this is it's almost like there's no question. It's just a fact. F of x is 2. But it begs the question, so what's x? Because they didn't tell you x. They told you what? What's f of x the same as? That's y. So it's like they said y is 2. And they want to know what's x. All right. Well, if you take the f of x and you follow it down to where it's 2, that's the important spot. Do you think they want the answer is 2? No. They want you to go over here and tell them what x was, which is f of 3 is 2. Now, you could have said x equals 3, or you could have wrote it the way I did. The way I did also implies that x equals 3, doesn't it? They're right below each other. All right. Now we're going to do one where this difficulty level steps up from, like, even the low B students could probably handle that one. But how about this one? What if I say f of 5x minus 1 is 30? Now, my hint to you in the past has been to cover this up and just realize, did they give you x? No, they gave you the y. Sometimes that helps. I don't want to give you too much help here, though, so give it a shot. F of x plus, or f of 5x minus 1 equals 30. All right, here's what I'd like you to think about. I'm going to write something that's true underneath this. F of negative 2 is 30. That's just a fact right off my chart. Why does this matter? Because look, I matched up the 30, I matched up the equals, I matched up the parentheses, and I matched up the F. They're all matched up. So then what's underneath the blue blob there? That's got to be negative 2. So let me see if I can just grab the, I'll just move that over. Move it down like that. So then I can tell that what's here, that needs to be that. So who knew to write 5x minus 1 equals negative 2 and solve it? Raise your hand if that's what you did. Awesome. Okay. Because this must equal this. All right, so then final answer. X equals negative 1/5. Okay. Now let's move to a different kind. Find this chart. It's actually a graph. We'll get to start with an easy one. What's what's f of 0? So each time I give you something, you gotta ask yourself, did he tell me the x or did he tell me the y? What should I tell you? I told you x. Because that right where the x would be, I put a 0. So you are basically, I said, hey, use x equals 0. And then you're supposed to figure out the y of it. So here's where x equals 0. And if I draw a line there like, that's where it hits. So that must be the spot. What spot is that? 0, -1. So then that means the answer is -1. Raise your hand if you had that one right. Okay, awesome. Next, let's try, similar to last time, f of x is 4. F of x is 4. This time, I didn't tell you x. By saying f of x is 4, it's like I said y is 4. And when I say y is 4, then that means I can go like this. And that spot right there, where that line y equals 4 hits, that spot is at -2, 4, and I know that that means f of -2 is 4. So I'm going to write that right underneath. F of -2 is 4, and that means x is -2. Raise your hand if you had that one right. Okay, you guys are getting everything right. This is awesome. Then I'm going to give you the complicated one. F of 9x plus 2 is 5. Solve for x. F of 9x plus 2 is 5. Solve for x. I like to scribble it out. And then just think, okay, that's saying that the y is 5. And as soon as I got that, it kind of goes pretty quick after that. Then I realized that's the point, and that's f of -4 is 5. Then I realized that the -4 has to be the same as whatever's underneath there. And so that whatever was underneath there is 9x, what did I say again? 9x what? Thank you. Equals -4. So now I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. 9x equals -6. Divide by 9, divide by 9. And 6/9 is the same as 2/3. Final answer, -2/3. Raise your hand if you had it right. Okay, can't stop this. You guys are unstoppable. All right, then here's the question now. There's 3 labels. Label A, label B, and label C. One of them is f of x, one of them is g of x, and one of them is x. You don't know which one is which. But after I say this next thing, you'll be able to tell which one's A, which one's B, and which one is C. If I told you that f of 5 was 48, you should be able to tell me which label goes where. The A, the B, and the C spot are where these 3 things go. Got to figure out what goes where. Well, here I'm going to backtrack it and go, this is normally f of x, so really Mr. Server said that x is 5. There's only one 5 on the whole chart, and so that means this spot has to be the x column. Raise your hand if you knew that that was the x column. Awesome. And then just by logic, you can figure out the teacher's probably not going to put them in order, f of x, then g of x, so I reversed it. This one is g of x. All we really know, though, is this one's f of x. And then by logic, there's only one place left. The other one must be g of x. So who caught on to picked up what I was laying down there? Okay, awesome. Then we've practiced everything. So you could seriously take this test tomorrow and you'd probably be fine. So all I expect you to do when we're done with the top 20 is go home, do some of tomorrow's worksheet, because then it won't be as painful to do it all at once. And then tomorrow we'll do some more review and have the rest of the day to work. Test the next day on Wednesday. Okay? It's on complicated function notation questions. All right. So what are we doing for the rest of the hour? Top 20. So now I want to, on the video, just because I don't think it hurt people at home to practice this a little bit, is there any of the actual first 20? Keep your iPads out. I want you to ask me some questions from this, because I know there are some of you sitting out there that can only do 5 of these. This is the part where you should ask me to say, hey, can you do one like number 6? So everybody, go to Algebra Ninja or go to an old First 20. I don't care, one or the other. And pull up a First 20 off of Algebra Ninja. Don't care which version, doesn't matter. Just look at the test ahead of time. You know that this is what's happening. And I did remind you before I left for the weekend, we were going to be testing on this. Is there any that you worked on? Maybe, you don't even have to have worked on it, but maybe you worked on it. Maybe you watched the video and you just still don't get it. Let me help you. Got one? Sure, would you read it to me, please?
-3 and -1 is less than -4.
All right. Everybody take that one and solve it like an equation. Just at one point, you got to be careful with the sign. Well, I'm hoping, how many of you guys are adding 1? Raise your hand if you're adding 1. That's a good idea. Do that. What do you get, sir, when you add 1? -3? Is that it? Isn't there any more? You got to tell me the whole equation. What do you get when you add 1 to both sides? Yep. -3. Awesome. Okay, now what do you do? Just like you're solving an equation, you get rid of this divided by what? -3. And this cancels. And n is less than 1, and then you lose all the points. Why? You know?
Oh, yeah,
Because there's a negative that you just multiplied or divided by. You got to do what? All right, flip the sign around. That should be a positive sign. All right. Get the feeling I'm losing a few people, but please try to stay with me for just one more problem. Is there any other problem that you guys want to nominate to practice? Let me just hear what yours is, and then I might be able to merge it with one of theirs.
X squared minus 3x minus 2 equals 3.
And tell me what yours was that you were interested in? I'll kind of merge them together.
X minus 7 times x plus 3 over x squared minus 49.
Okay, and what was yours?
-2 plus or minus 2 times square root of 2 over 6.
Okay. The green one, the one you just told me about, that'll be in the middle of this one, so I'll cover that there. Okay. This blue one, I'm just going to take 2 seconds to answer. All you got to do is know how to factor x squared minus 49. That's x plus 7 and x minus 7. And why does it become super easy then? Because stuff cancels. That cancels, that, and you're done. It's that quick. You just got to know how to factor a pattern like that. So let me give you one. If it was x squared minus 25, can you tell from that last one, what would you do?
X plus 5.
Yep, x plus 5, x minus 5.
And then would the answer just be x plus 3 over x plus 7?
Yep, the answer would be right here, that over that. All right, so now let me take this one that is left here, and I'm going to do the zoom way out and erase trick, which is a really good idea. Erase is really fast if you do it that way. Okay. Well, first thing you got to do is set it equal to 0. You really need to know this. They have to be set equal to 0. A A lot of times the teacher already has done that for you, and in a way that's a mistake on our part as teachers because then kids don't even realize that we did that. You got to make it so it's equal to 0. Then, if you can factor it, you should, but I'll save you some time. This one won't factor. So how are you supposed to solve it if you can't factor it? The quadratic formula. Do you remember that quadratic formula? X equals negative b. Except instead of putting the whole formula out, that would waste some time. We're practicing for the ACT. You do not want to write out the whole formula. You want to do the formula, except put the numbers in it as you do it. So what is negative b in this case? Well, in case you don't even know where A, B, and C are, that's A, that's B, and that's C. If you haven't caught on to that, that's important to know. Those are the A and the B and the C terms. All right, so then, if I'm going to do x equals negative b, I'd say negative 3, except it's got to be the negative of negative 3. So it's positive 3. Plus and minus square root of b squared, which I should do in my head quick. And what is it? 9. Minus 4ac, 4 times 1 times negative 5, all over 2a, which is 2 times 1, which is 2. Now you tell me, what's the complicated part of this? Is it the beginning? Is it the plus minus? Is it the bottom? Well, I don't know. You could argue all of those things. But I think the most complicated thing, whoa, sorry, it's all right, is the root. I mark that wrong so often. Like I'll bet you $1 that somebody's going to mess up underneath the root today when we do this problem. Why? Because it's complicated to remember all that. B squared minus 4ac. And then it's the negatives that get people all the time. See that negative and that negative? People are convinced you have to subtract. But wait, what if there's 2 negatives? Then you actually add. Or you're subtracting a negative, which means you're going to add. All right, so if I'm going to do this one, it's going to be 9 plus 20, and that means underneath the square root, I have a 29. And then anybody in here would be able to say 3 plus and minus 29 over 2. The easy part is the rest of it. The hard part is what's underneath the root. That's it. I know that doesn't feel very satisfying, like you want an answer of like 6 or something. That's called simplest radical form. It's got a square root in it. And I just had a pre-calc teacher ask me today, like in regular pre-calc, like how tough should we be about reducing these? I said, if the directions say simplest radical form, it has to be reduced. So that's why we need to know how to do this. Simplest radical form has to be reduced to the simplest thing. So, for instance, if this was a 36, I couldn't just stop, right? You'd know what the square root of 36 would be. You'd know that'd be 6. And then you could go 3 plus 6 divided by 2 and 3 minus 6 divided by 2 and get the 2 answers. But if it's a weird square root like this one, then we just leave it like this and we say good enough. And that's what it'll be like on the top 20 or first 20. All right, time to take it and see how you do. I'm looking for improvement, not perfection. Although I'd like to see perfection from you again. That's all I got for you for today. Okay, 20 minutes, time. Why so strict on the time? Because that's 1 minute per problem, just like the ACT. And to be honest, these are a little easier than the average ACT question. Some of the ACT questions are harder than this, some are easier, but this is kind of on the easier side, so you really shouldn't need more than a minute per problem. On your mark, get set, go. There, I just started the timer now, so.